Kyle, but are you familiar with Max Thunder Rumble?
I've heard rumbles of it, but yeah, it's coming back, I guess. This is definitely a surprise here, as Jason Bryant is going to be bringing the Jolteon VMAX, and that is definitely a treat here at 3-0.
Here we go, back to the forefront here. Jason Bryant rolling up with Jolteon VMAX 3-0. Absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to get into it. We're going to see a Mew VMAX versus a Jolteon VMAX. The VMAX Wars here. All right, let's get into our game. These players are already set up. This is, of course, our lunch break, so still Swiss round 4, but just a little break in between.
Yep, and starting things off here with the Inteleon line. We have not seen this too often, unless it's the Palkia deck getting it done. But this has been a great engine for this this deck for so long. It just kind of had to disappear for a while because of the fighting weakness that we saw in so prominent in the TCG for a while.
Absolutely. Starting off here with the speed lightning energy on Jason's side, so able to draw into 2 more cards. Let's see how this deck operates here. Let's see how consistent it is. Let's see how the initial turns up. I mean, that's a pretty solid turn here. Getting 2 Sobble down, getting 2 Jolteon down, drawing into a couple extra cards, manual attachment. Pretty solid on Jason's side. We're over on Brian's side of the field now, starting with a Mew V in the active. Let's see if we can see one of these explosive Mew VMAX turns here from Brian's side of the field. Of course, I think this is a bit more of a traditional Mew VMAX list than what we just saw on our last round 4 here from Brian. So starting off with that Battle VIP, fantastic. Going to be searching through the deck here, getting 2 basic Pokemon out onto the field. Always what you want to see, so you can be drawing into those cards from the Fusion Strike system.
Yep.
So,
of course, very scary to see that path to the peak as you start off your opening turn.
Yeah, you're going to need a way to bump that in order to get into those cards for sure.
Yep, we do see plenty of Pokemon to choose from with the Battle VIP pass. Going to be able to get some Pokemon onto the bench, but then you start to worry. You're going to need to find one of those 2 Lost Vacuums or Lost Cities that are featured in this list, along with the Collapse Stadium, so plenty of different options, but those along with the 4 Sealstone are really going to be your choices here to start drawing some cards.
Absolutely. I mean, still, that's a ton of options there. We just got to see what the hand is looking like here for Brian. Of course, starting off that Battle VIP is nice, but yeah, you're going to have to find a way to bump that, get into some more cards here. And I don't think Brian was probably prepared to be sitting across the table from a Jolteon deck.
You know, he did have a little bit of time as we moved into this game, as we watched the first one.
Maybe chatted it up a little bit.
So, hey, buddy, what's that card do?
I think the last time I saw Jolteon VMAX, I absolutely despised the deck when it was doing pretty well before we got back into tournament play. Just absolutely slayed online. Just being able to attack the bench so strong. I hated playing against it, Kyle. I'm not going to lie.
You know, and this is one of those matchups where it can be pretty awkward. The Genesect V's getting that 100 damage, and eventually it just lines up. You can end up in a lot of trouble and see the prize cards fall. It's not like you can sneak the Manaphy into this deck list every time.
We're not seeing a Manaphy in this Mew VMAX deck. I mean, we've seen a lot of weird stuff in Mew VMAX, but yeah, we are definitely not going to be seeing a Manaphy to protect anything on that bench. So we'll see how Brian chooses to navigate around this. But hey, with a title like that, Kyle, I believe here in Brian Miller.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And here we go, starting off here with that stadium bump. It is going to be the Collapse Stadium, so both players can only have 4 Pokemon on their fields until that Collapse Stadium comes out of play. But hey, that means Brian's going to be able to draw into some cards here now. And the 4 Sealstone's nice as well.
Absolutely. We do see that Cramomatic featured in this list.
Cramomatic, it looks like it was a Tails because Brian is not going into the deck here. So just going to be another Fusion Strike system for an additional 3 cards into the hand.
All right.
Does see the energy.
Yeah, can't complain. We see the energy and the Mew VMAX for the following turn now. It's not like you're getting an attack off on the opening turns here with this style. We don't see that Meloetta, of course, or those fusion energies. So now just thinking, how can I avoid giving too many prize cards away? And even thinking about maybe retreating to that Oricorio here.
Yep, that could be the potential here, having the pivot out, protecting the Mew V on the field currently. We'll see if Brian does that, but no, it's just going to be a pass here. Mew V still in the active here, and now we're over on Jason's side. So, of course, this is the turn where Jason is able to evolve those Jolteon V into the Jolteon VMAX. Also, speaking of evolutions, that Drizzile is going to be a pretty pivotal one as well, because shady dealings, whoa, it's been a hot minute since I've said that one, Kyle.
That's right, and it's still very strong, as we're going to see Jason be able to search through the deck now, find something to help here, and it looks like it's going to have to be the level ball, maybe going for another Drizzile. We're going to just chain them.
We're chaining them.
Which is something you don't see too often, but in this deck you are going to be looking for those Inteleons. You want to get some extra damage down onto the board with quick shooting.
Yeah, definitely. Dual quick shooting Inteleon is so strong for sure. So the faster you can get into that, the better off you are. And of course, that is going to get us into another shady dealing here off of that Drizzile. So searching through the deck for an item card here from Jason. Of course, if you're not playing the other version of the Inteleon with the shady dealings, then you're not going to be drawing into more cards off of that because, well, actually, I mean, it is in the deck, though, right?
Yep,
yeah,
should just be the one.
There's just one copy of it, so we might see that. But yeah, like Kyle emphasized there, definitely wanting to get into those quick shooting and spread around some damage here. Going to be the Evolution Incense, though, off that shady dealing from the Drizzile into, here we go, Kyle, that Jolteon VMAX.
Yeah, and of course, it's very nice to have access to the Max Thunder Rumble, but we don't see a way to get some extra damage onto the bench, and that's really where this attack shines. If we saw a Pokemon like that Galarian Zigzagoon in this instance, this would be such a huge turn, but I don't think we see it here just yet.
Yeah, we are going to see that Elemental badge come down.
Yep, that's a nice way to go ahead and get this early damage onto the Mew V, or Choreo going to be helping out here, make that just 80 damage onto the Mew V.
Very nice here. All right. So getting through these turns here on Jason's side. Still only one energy attached there. So I don't think there actually was an energy attachment for that turn either, Kyle. There was no energy, I suppose, in the hands there on Jason's side. But, yep, here we go. Kicking it back to Brian's turn. Brian's side of the field here. Popping off that first Fusion Strike system. Over here, drawing into some more cards. Ooh, we're going to see the boss play here, bringing up a Jolteon V. Of course, it has not evolved into that VMAX yet, so it is ripe for the picking, if I do say so myself here, Kyle.
Yeah, I'll agree, as 190 is a really nice number for this deck. As we see, Mew is definitely hungry for that. Going to have 2 prize cards ready to go there from Technoblast.
Technoblast, blasting away here. Very nice. 2 prize cards down for Brian. Back over to Jason's side of the field. We see that energy in that elemental badge, which is reducing the cost of attacks here for Jason.
Yep, Jason now just considering how to go about the rest of this hand. Did find the professor's research, so looks like he's going to start using some of these resources here. Get rid of that Forest Seal Stone, as it was not used yet, so a nice resource to get rid of, and we're going to see 7 cards.
Definitely. Fantastic resource to get rid of. So Brian can't just go into the deck for whatever they want from there, but here we go. We're going to see that research. Did discard a single Cheryl from the hand there on Jason's side, so there's even healing potential in this deck as well here from Jason. But fresh 7 cards. Let's see if we can see a little bit more of some board setup here from Jason. Of course, having that Jolteon V hit the discard pile. It's a little rough here. Now we just have a lone VMAX out here. Another energy coming down for the turn. There we go. Jolteon V on the bench here. Temple of Sinnoh is now in play, which of course is going to turn any special energy into just a colorless.
Yep.
Just 1 colorless.
And that is very nice here against Brian. You're going to reduce those double turbos down to just 1, so going to need to see the counter stadium here. And can you imagine this turn if Jason had access to that quick shooting Inteleon? Would have been so nice to remove that Mew V.
Absolutely it would. We're going to see that Cramomatic hit aheads here, though, on Brian's side. So depending on what is in hand, we might even see Brian take out a counter stadium to get rid of that Temple of Sinnoh. But who knows here what Brian has got brewing in this hand so far. Did you get a look at any of the cards, Kyle?
Yeah, not yet, but definitely am looking to see an evolution on that Mew V. I'm terrified right now for that
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Oh no.
Very close to being knocked out, and this is where you start to consider, is there potential for some Psychic Leap plays? Can you start to remove some of this damage that's been built up on these Pokemon and maybe avoid giving up some early prize cards here?
I'm ready to see some Psychic Leaping from our Mew VMAX players. We don't get to see it too often, but hey, when you're in a situation where it's applicable, might as well wipe that damage off the board. And here we go. Stadium bump here. Lost City is going to be the stadium in play now. Our players just running all across town to these different stadiums.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, 3 power tabs.
Is this going to happen? 300 is the mark to make, and I believe we're just, what, one more amplifier away?
Yeah, that is actually very, very true. You know, we very rarely get to see Jolteon VMAX here on our fields, but 300 HP. Also kind of an odd HP number that we don't see very frequently. I feel like it's usually like 310 or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, just a solid 300 here that Mew VMAX needs to hit, and 3 power tablets is definitely a good start to get there. Can we see some sort of choice belt, or I guess the 4th power tab?
Yeah, I mean, who cares about defense when we've got offense? Look at all of these draws, opportunities here. Ultra Ball going to thin down even lower. Had a quick ball and
Wow.
looks to hold on to some of those resources. And we'll see if Brian's able to find the way to close out this knockout.
Absolutely. That would be huge here, Kyle. If we could see this happen, and Brian seems to be going for it here. All 3 of those power tablets played down. It always feels so bad, though, when you use all those resources and then don't make it, Kyle. It hurts.
Just a little short, but yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the case here, or if we can see Brian get this. Has 5 opportunities now.
Here we go. Let's see what these cards show us, Kyle. Oh, hiding the hand.
Oh, found the choice
Choice
belt. That's so big here.
Is that going to be enough? Because, yeah.
Yeah, it should be the
should
Pokemon
be.
on the bench
Yeah,
attacking
of course,
here.
without the secondary double turbo.
And that's going to line up perfectly here. 310 for the knockout. And you can't ask for much more. Taking 3 prize cards here, get down to just 1 left, and you have 2 Mew VMAX to close out potentially.
Absolutely. So much on the board here for Brian. So many opportunities to just take a quick 1 prize card off one of these Sobbles or Drizzile. So definitely in a fantastic position. Of course, we're going to have to see the pivot there into the Mew VMAX here with the choice belt. 3 power tabs have been played down. This is huge here for Brian. Here we go. Just saying, okay, that's a quick knockout here. Of course, verifying all the math here, but that is enough damage modifiers here to do just enough damage. Was 310 on that Jolteon VMAX, taking it off of the field here, taking 3 prize cards, going down to 1, and it is up to Jason to respond. But how?
Yep,
how?
That's not what you want to see. Quick ball, got a discard, but gonna look for some help here. I think it's just the Drizzile this turn that can help find something. Is there a way maybe you can reset the hand and then just roll into all the right cards if you find that VMAX, the Speed Lightning energy, potentially that Elemental Badge to go along with this? You just have to put the pressure back on instantly and have an attack ready to go.
Absolutely. Mew VMAX is such a powerhouse deck. And I mean, is that going to be the downfall here of the Jolteon VMAX? Is it just not fast enough to keep up with the Mew VMAX that can just pop off so early and put on so much aggression in these early turns? You know, Jolteon VMAX, we saw the Cheryl in there. There's healing potential out there. We're going to see like multiple quick shootings throughout these turns. So building up that damage, you know, potentially taking multiple prize card turns, or prize card knockout turns. But if you're not able to get there, then that is the real issue here. And that's unfortunately what's playing out a bit here on Jason's side.
It looks like there's not much defense in this list either. We see just the 1 Marnie, and there's no other way to really manipulate what's going on your opponent's side of the board. So looks like Jason was hoping to set the pace here, and that's not happening in this opening game. It's going to have to be the professor's research to go and find all the right cards to at least get a good attack off this turn. But if Brian has the pieces, that's going to be the end of game 1 pretty quick.
Absolutely. Let's see what is drawn off of these 7 cards here. If Jason can save the day.
Speed lightning. Oh, he's found everything.
Yeah, actually, that's a that is a hand, Kyle.
Yep, very strong here. I guess the only thing that you could ask for is to maybe find some of the Inteleon line, which we just are lacking currently. You could, of course, use the Evolution Incense, go grab the other Inteleon, maybe find some additional pieces, and then use that scoop up net, potentially get down 1 quick shooting Inteleon along with this.
All right, here we go. Elemental Badge here, reducing the cost here for the Jolteon. I believe it has to, yeah, even on the card, you have to have Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon in the name. Not one we see too often because we don't see those Pokemon usually being played, but.
No love for Leafeon.
I know, right? I think that's a different badge now.
Yeah.
Something like that. There we go. All right, here. So Elemental Badge is out. Speed Lightning Energy, of course, helping Jason draw a couple extra cards here. We are going to see that in evolution into the Shady Dealings Inteleon. So that's going to be 2 item cards drawn out. Sorry, 2 trainer cards drawn out of the deck here on Jason's side.
Yeah, we see the 1 going for the Evolution Incense. So that would line up nicely to go and grab the Jolteon VMAX that you're looking for, get those hit points, but ends up grabbing the Temple of Sinnoh. Thinking about later turns, it would not help out here. That's a Speed Lightning energy on your Pokemon, but
yes,
we'll
yeah,
see.
That's very true. Yeah, 1 path to the peak in Jason's deck, as well as 2 of those Temple of Sinnoh. So I guess a little bit of disruption there, but still pretty slim line of stadiums. All right, we're going to see the evolution there into that VMAX. That's what we needed to see. And I mean, that's a lot of damage modifiers down on Brian's side of the field. So at least Jason has a little bit of chance to hang in here. But that's only if Brian can't just gust up one of those nice little 1-prizers and take it out for the game. But hey, scoop up net's a good way to get that off the field.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you just put another stopple down. Never mind.
Yeah. Just understands that he's going to need to have to go through the deck a little more to find the right pieces to close out this game. If your opponent has a way to gust or move any of these Pokemon, you're going to lose anyways.
Yeah, exactly. If they have it, they have it. And let's see if Brian has it. Yep, there we go. We're going to see the boss there. Of course, Mew VMAX coming off the bench. It's going to be any of those 1-prize Pokemon. And that is Brian Miller taking our first game here, knocking out a little 1-prizer there. That was incredible. I mean, that was a huge turn that we saw for Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over here looking at defensive lines going, oh, well, you don't want to get knocked out. This is a big Pokemon, but 300? No problem for the Legend Killer. Easy knockout.
Brian definitely had a different strategy on the minds. But hey, I feel like that's not too big of a surprise, Kyle, because I mean, these are our Mew VMAX players. Let's think about that. You know what I mean? I feel like these are the most aggressive players that we probably have out there in the field.
Yeah.
They're not thinking defense. They're not thinking the psychic leap in. They're thinking full aggro. Let me take my opponent down here. And that's exactly what Brian did successfully here.
Yeah, I mean, he baits you there. He's got the big charm in the deck. You start thinking, oh, he just wants to play defensive. Some judges and disrupt your opponent. Nah, I'm just going to sneak in here. I still have the choice belt and the 4 power tablet to get the job done. Sure enough, found 4 of those 5 to take the big knockout. Unreal. Absolutely.
Hey, if you got it, you got it.
Oh, not this game.
Yeah. I was about to say that too, Kyle. Not this game. 2 power tablets we see in the prize cards there. Of course, on Jason's side, that single copy of the Shady Dealings Inteleon that could come into play, and one of those Drizzile as well. So a little bit lacking on the setup there from Jason's prize cards. Jason opting to go first here on the initial turn. Let's see if we can see Jason get a pretty solid setup here and maybe see Brian falter a little bit with not being able to take those early knockouts potentially, depending on the initial setup from Brian's side of the field. If that happens, Jason, on the other hand, that 60-card deck list has a lot more sustainability in the later halves of these games, I can imagine. So we'll see what happens here. If Jason can take us to a 1-1 into a game 3, it would be pretty hype. But hey, there's a long game ahead of us, Kyle.
Yeah, and Jason's going to start things
Ooh, let's
off
go.
showing off the tech there. He's got the Radiant Eternatus in this list, and that is going to be a great way to get
That's
down
amazing.
these Jolteon VMAXs without any worries, as you can use the Climactic Gate there. And,
Oh my gosh.
you know, you end your turn on the first turn. That's a pretty great way to do it.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty climactic for sure. I think this is the first time I've casted a game where Radiant Eternatus is played. I love it. I love to see it. All right, let's see what Brian can set up here. Seeing that Radiant Eternatus come down. We have multiple Jolteon VMAX, multiple attackers here on Jason's side. So let's see how Brian chooses to respond. Starting off with a quick ball, discarding a Roxanne here. So not popping off the Battle VIP straight away. It makes me feel like it is not in hand as of this moment.
Yeah, you start to worry. It might not be there this time around. But
I think there was one in the prizes too, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. I think maybe both players had one. Does Jason play Battle VIP?
I don't think so. But
Yeah, he plays three
yeah,
copies.
We played not the full 4, but you know, if you get all of your VMAXs down on the first turn, who cares?
Yeah,
He's gonna
exactly.
have 3 Jolteon VMAX going on turn 2.
That's a lot of HP. That's a lot of collective HP for sure. All right, and also something to point out too that I don't even think I mentioned yet, that Jolteon VMAX just has free retreat as well.
Yep.
So just jumping around here, those quick lightning Pokemon, electric Pokemon. All right, here we go. Brian, rolling through this hand here. We're seeing some discards. Ultra Ball, discarding a Mew VMAX. Of course, there is 3 total for in the deck for Brian, and a Boss's Order as well. So now the Roxanne is down, the Boss is down, and a Mew VMAX currently. Of course, usually we see cards like a Pal Pad, which, yeah, Brian plays 1 copy of, where we can see those supporters come back later in the game, so not too big of a deal. We're going to jump into an escape rope now. Jason bringing up one of those VMAX Pokemon. Brian,
Whoa.
Choice Belt.
You gotta be kidding. That is the 3 best cards,
Jeez.
pretty much. Finds double Battle VIP, and I think it was a Chromatic as well.
Oh,
so
no way.
that is going to be perfect here. Get the full setup, the Oricorio to protect, and
then endless card draw.
and
Really?
yeah, you get to keep drawing too. Still has an extra Genesect there, so
That's
Fusion Strike
awesome.
available.
Yeah, that is incredible. Definitely what you want to see. This is our last Fusion Strike system for the turn here, but it is going to get a lot of cards. As you can see, there was only 1 card in hand there for Brian. So drawing an additional 5 cards here. Cramomatic still in the hand. If you want to utilize it, Big Parasol being brought out onto the field, as well as that Choice Belt that was benched early, and we're just going to see that pass. But look at that initial setup there, Kyle. The one thing we didn't see, I suppose, was the energy attachment. I don't think there's energy in hand as of now for Brian either, but hopefully we can see that down the line.
Yeah, we will see, as that is going to be an important piece. I think both players right now are interested in where their energies are. As
Yeah.
Jason has 2 in the prize cards, 1 on that Jolteon VMAX, and we haven't seen the Elemental Badge just yet. So needs to find a way to get a nice attack off here, and hopefully work in the Galarian Zigzagoon as well, as you want to be dealing the full amount of damage here on turn 2.
Definitely. Yep. You need, I mean, as we discussed before, you want to take the momentum of this game. You want to be more aggressive than your opponent is being. Take some early knockouts here and take that prize lead. So let's see if Jason can get there. We are going to start with the level ball here. So any Pokemon that is 90 HP or less. So options for the Drizzile, Sobble, or that little Galarian Zigzagoon.
Come on in, buddy. Yep, he's definitely the one we're looking for here. Has the energy to go along with this, and this also means that you could potentially line it up with the Temple of Sinnoh. I don't know if you want to play that just yet until you're actually using a supporter like that Marnie in hand, so could potentially hold on to that as well, but we'll see.
Yeah,
It does look nice. I don't blame him.
True. That is a nice looking card there in the hand, and it's going to come into play here. So here we go, Jason getting that damage down. Of course, the energy being applied here. So just enough for that max Thunder Rumble.
Yep, and removing the Oricorio from play there. So
Yep.
if you do take that knockout on a Mew VMAX, prizes line up pretty nice. 3 there, 2 on a Genesect, and you're on your way to game 3.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty huge, because then you don't have to work through one of those giant bulky VMAX. You can just quick knock that Oricorio, get that damage reduction, I suppose, off the field as well on Brian's side. That's huge. And of course, take a prize card, which is quite nice as well. So Jason down a prize card here. We are going to see the stadium bump from Brian's side of the field, that Lost City coming into play now, and we're going to see a judge. So a little bit of disruption here from Brian. Both players are going to draw into 4 cards after the shuffle, and this honestly could be relatively major as well. Of course, Jason, as far as the setup is chilling now because there's energy attached. We got the VMAX. We have multiple other VMAX down on the field too. But hey, we still need to see those energy out, or like we've mentioned, that elemental badge to help out a little bit. Maybe some healing, which I believe just drew into the Cheryl. But hey, on Brian's side here, that's going to be a heads on the Cramomatic.
Absolutely rolling here. Decided not to play down the Mew V. Instead, held out there with the judge, found the Genesect V, has access to all the Fusion Strike systems, and even gets heads with the Cramomatic, so can continue to add some cards into the hand and eventually onto this board here. Don't expect to see all the power tablets this time around. We do still have 2 in the prizes, so it's going to have to be a 2-piece knockout eventually. But we'll see what Brian does in order to get ready for that, as he knows that plenty of damage is going to be lined up next turn from his opponent.
Absolutely. Definitely there's going to be a lot of damage on the field, but of course, like we mentioned, that Cheryl plays perfectly into this deck. Of course, you do have to discard your energy off your VMAX, but then you heal all the damage, so that's a pretty wild card to have there, especially when you have energy reduction cards that help you out, like the Elemental Badge. All you need is another energy attached, an Elemental Badge, and you're still kicking here. I feel like Jolteon VMAX is maybe the closest thing we're going to see to a horse-looking Pokemon. So, hey, still Knoxville, Tennessee. Horses are coming out to play. Let's go. All right, it's just going to be that damage there from the Techno Blast here. That Mew VMAX, of course, with the Choice Belt. Damage buff, but then also double turbo nerfing a little bit. But hey, that's still going to be a nice 220 there on that VMAX. Let's see what Jason chooses to do here. I don't see an energy in the hand as of now. Elemental Badge is going to come out, debating the scoop up net here, but there is no second Sobble down, so we're not going to see another Drizzile sort of chain. Either.
This is a little bit awkward here. Had to bench a lot to get to this situation, and this means that you don't have additional Sobbles and those eventual Drizziles to go along with it. So it's going to have to stick around here with the Jolteon VMAX. Yep,
that VMAX is going to keep hitting here and still at least consistently taking prize cards. Of course, we did see the elimination of that Oricorio off of the board, so taking out a Genesect here, at least getting damage down, also kind of making your opponent work through more resources to have to get that Genesect out of the active position as well. Jason doing all that he can here in this turn to figure things out.
Jason's holding on to the quick ball there. There was an opportunity to maybe go grab Sobble, and then you have an extra addition, all those live top decks you could find to get out of this awkward hand. Instead now, going to go for the Galarian Zigzagoon, get the additional damage on the Genesect V, and sees those prize cards that he wants. Really hoping for a good top deck now, because this could get ugly quick if Brian starts taking 3 prize knockouts left and right.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of damage here on the boards. That Jolteon VMAX, definitely max Thunder Rumbling so far. Of course, it does that 100 base and then also does 100 as well to a bench Pokemon that already has the damage counters on it. So that's something important to note as well, where those damage counters can be placed. All right, over on Brian's side, debating what is happening here, Kyle, with this debate. Looks like a switch. Oh.
Considering how to take this knockout and potentially have the opportunity to deal 300 damage on the following turn. That's really the game plan here. You want to remove 2 Jolteon VMAX from play, and if you can do that while holding on to some of those resources, you definitely want to. Has the power tablet in hand, which is a nice resource, but do you also consider disrupting? Your opponent really didn't do too much last turn, though.
Yeah, true. We are going to go into the deck, though, here off of that Forest Seal Stone that's on the Genesect V on the board. So Brian is going to go and choose any card out of the deck. Of course, doesn't have to reveal it either. that is your own personal knowledge as a player, but I assume usually we see that card be played pretty quickly, and it is going to be a
Wow.
Collapse Stadium here.
That is so helpful, being able to remove
Wow.
all that damage from play there off the Genesect V.
Huge.
And it also just limits the bench here for Jason
Yeah.
as well. We're going to see the knockout, 3 prize cards, and doesn't find any of the tablets.
No. They were in awkward spots for sure in the prize cards, unfortunately, there for Brian. I'm sure taking those 3 prize cards and saying, oh, I still have 2 tablets in the prize cards.
Is that the worst top deck in the deck?
What
Found
was it?
second Cheryl, and he's just showing Brian.
Oh, no. Tilting the wrong way. Oh, no. Yeah, this is not where you want to be. It's just going to be a promotion of the Zigzagoon and a pass back to Brian. Brian starting off with the Cramomatic. It is going to be a tails here, but hey. Oh, there's another Cramomatic. Can this one be a heads? No, I think that is another tails here for Brian. But, I mean, when your opponent can only promote and pass, that is a fantastic position for you to be in, especially if you just wiped a ton of damage off of the board with that Collapse Stadium. That is just a big brain play there from Brian. Collapse Stadium, not only to disrupt your opponent, but also to play into your own strategy. That is one of the amazing ways it can come into play. We're going to see the boss here on the Drizzile.
Yep, this is definitely the most live top deck you would think from your opponent.
Yes.
That Drizzile into the Shady Dealings Inteleon, but we know it's in the prizes. But
Yeah.
you got to play around that anyways, and
Yeah.
Ryan's going to go ahead and remove that Pokemon there.
Absolutely. So Drizzile hidden the discard. Brian taking another prize card. Only 2 left to take. Of course, 2 VMAX are down, so he's going to have to get through a lot of HP here unless Jason benches another 1 prize Pokemon, and then Brian can gust those babies up, knock them out. But hey, I think just powering through this HP when your opponent's doing nothing is a fantastic way to go about this as well. And that is probably what we're about to be seeing here from Brian's side of the field.
Yep, does not have the knockout just yet. To see the multiple tablet in hand. Maybe can try to piece it all together here, but
Yeah.
does still have the limited bench space there from the Collapse Stadium. So not drawing as many as he usually would.
Yep, just mapping all of this out right now. What are the best plays here? But it's just going to be that damage into the Jolteon VMAX, the Max Miracle. Of course, with the 140, because of the Choice Belt double turbo, changing up our damage output a little bit here. And at least Jason did get some cards here to hand. The Elemental Badge is in play now. Speed, Lightning Energy coming into play, drawing another 2 cards. Sobble's going to come down, so that is now 2 1 prize Pokemon out there on the field here. But also, you just got to do what you got to do at this point in time for Jason. You need access to your deck to be able to pull out the rest of this. At least that VMAX is online.
Yep, we see the Evolution Incense in hand, so Drizzile will be available next turn potentially.
Yep.
And now Brian's going to lose that Genesect V. We're going to see Jason draw some prize cards, get to 3 now.
Yeah.
There's still an opportunity if Brian's able to find all the pieces, and
Oh.
looky there. That is, that's how you do it.
3 power tablets coming back out. We are seeing a repeat here from Brian Miller. That's going to be 3 power tabs, a Choice Belt, and a 2-0 there, Kyle.
Yep, and that is unreal. Brian with a fantastic showing here up against a deck that he's probably not used to seeing. And,
No.
I mean, that's just the power of Mew VMAX. You